All right, Basement Tapes number 239. I'm going to tell you right now, just between you and I, that my dog has gas, and I'm holding on barely here. He is down there, and he is blissfully asleep, but all chambers are not watertight and shut. There is definite, he's definitely bilging some stuff out right now. So I'll try to continue on here. Apologies for that. But 1972, Sunoco Stamps Football. This is a set that is massive. It's a set that has a lot of interest in the hobby when it comes to stuff outside of the mainstream issues. Got 262 of these, and there's a lot of information out there. I believe I've done a set or a long deep dive into this in one of my previous incarnations of this channel. So let's get to Beckett. It says there's 626 of these, average value 41 cents for a total value 256.95. Says no rookie cards, but that's not actually true, I don't think. Complete set of these, $75 to $150. So let's read about this. In 1972, the Sun Oil Company issued a stamp set and two types of albums. Each stamp measures approximately 1 5/8 by 2 3/8, whereas the albums are approximately 10 3/8 inches by 10 15/16 inches. The logo on the cover of the 56-page stamp album indicates NFL Action 1972. The other deluxe album contains 128 pages. Each team was represented with 12 offensive and 12 defensive player stamps. There are a total of 624 unnumbered stamps in the set, which made this stamp set the largest football set to date at that time. The albums indicate where each stamp is to be placed. The square for each player's stamp was marked by the player's name, number, name, position, height, weight, age, and college attended. When the album was issued, the back of the book included perforated sheets of stamps comprising more than 1/4 of the set. The album also had sheets of tabs, which were to be used for putting the stamps in the book, rather than licking the entire stamp. Each week of the promotion, a purchase of gasoline yielded an additional 9-player perforated stamp sheet. The stamps and the album positions are unnumbered, so the stamps are ordered and numbered below according to the team order in which they appeared in the book. The team order is alphabetical. Since the same 144 stamps were included as an insert with each album, these 144 stamps are easier to find and are marked as DPs in the checklist below. The stamp set is considered in very good condition at best when glued in the album. There are a number of players appearing in this list or before their rookie card year. Lyle Alzado, Mel Blount, Harold Carmichael, Dan Deerdorf, L.C. Greenwood, Jack Ham, Cliff Harris, Ted Hendricks, Charlie Joyner, Bob Kuchenberg, Larry Little, Archie Manning, Ray Perkins, Jim Plunkett, John Riggins, Art Shell, Steve Spurrier, Roger Staubach, Gene Upshaw, Jeff Van Note, and Jack Youngblood. So their turnaround time was quicker than Tops's, most likely. So they were able to get some players into these sets before Tops did, although some of them, it looks like it's a dead heat. It's almost tied, but with Tops. But let's look at the 626 stamps here and the top three, according to Beckett. Discounting the albums there, it's Roger Staubach, Joe Namath, and Terry Bradshaw, three of the big names of the late 60s and 70s, obviously. Let's get over to TCDB. You see these 624 stamps, 1 5/8 by 2 3/8. Good looking stamps. Nice action photo inside of an oval there. The player's number, the player's name, their position, and of course below that, their full team name. So teams represented here are the Falcons, Colts, Bills, Bears, Bengals, Browns, Cowboys, Broncos, Lions, Packers, Oilers, Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings, Patriots, Saints, Giants, Jets, Raiders, Eagles, Steelers, Chargers, 49ers, Cardinals, and Redskins. Hall of Famers, there's 74 of them in here, folks. So there is a ton of Hall of Fame action in here, regardless of whether they're big guns or whether it's people like Dave Wilcox. Or let's find another one here. Dave Wilcox or I'm having trouble finding somebody that might be considered a little bit more obscure. Maybe Tom Mack, I guess, even though they're all fine players as they were in the Football Hall of Fame. Packaging, we see the stamp booklets here. These are little fine works of art as well. Fortunate to have a bunch of these. NFL Action 1972, 9 official NFL Action player stamps. They basically fold out like a regular book of stamps. There's an Eagles, there's a Dolphins, there's a Cowboys. It says the Sunoco logo as well as DX in a diamond as well. I'm not quite familiar with DX, but I'm sure it means something to someone. The NFL Action 1972 Stamp Saver Album and Deluxe Saver Album are excellent ways to save and protect your valuable stamp collection for the 1972 season. 128-page deluxe album, the official word and picture album, is truly a collector's item. Contains illustrations, stories, historical data, and stamp areas for 624 players of the 26 NFL teams, plus 144 free player action stamps. 56-page Saver album features stamp area pages for each of the 26 NFL teams and all 624 players, plus 144 free player action stamps. Visit your participating Sunoco or DX dealer today and obtain the Saver album of your choice. This is copyrighted NSI Marketing Limited. And there's the big old stamp album there, the 128-page. I don't know whether I have either of these albums. I know I have a lot of the booklets. I know I have a lot of the stamps. So after this show, I'll run over to some of my setup and see if I can find if I have that, just to make myself tickle that curious little itch I have. Here are the stamps again. They are Falcons leading us off with the Atlanta. So Falcons wearing those red uniforms, truly the right choice. The helmets and the shirts. I don't know why they went black, but apparently they can't go back at this point, they say. Buffalo Bills are represented there. Again, these are all actions. I don't think they were able to get the players to actually pose, or maybe they didn't want to take the time to do that. But it's 1972, and truthfully, there aren't a lot of action football cards or football releases out there. So this may have been the first that I know of. 72 Topps Football would have some pro action shots, but this is entirely, it looks like entirely done on the field. And I'm talking about the field on game day. Even Chip Myers, the wide receiver from Cincinnati Bengals, even though it looks like a pose, he is captured obviously in pregame warm-up. So none of these are posed. They are all some sort of action, whether game action or warm-up action or sideline action. So probably a pretty groundbreaking set there football-wise. Football probably, when I say probably, definitely more difficult to capture, I think, in live action form than baseball, of course. Anybody could stand at a home plate with a bat in their hand, but these guys are running around. Dwayne Thomas, of course, in those dark blue Cowboys uniforms, Roger Staubach. So anyway, this is will never finish this unless I come upon a huge, massive mother load of the books or whatever, but I do have about a third of it or more than a third, and that makes me thrilled to have those, because you don't see them a lot. Not that I look for them, but you don't see them a lot. But they are fun items, and not quirky, but definitely have some legacy to them with the action shots and some of those players that were featured here first. I believe there is, if I recall correctly from the episode I did on that, there's on this, that there is a player that had been in the league for several years, a lineman, maybe even as long as 5 or 6 years, and this was his only representation on a trading card type release. So anyway, that's the 1972 Sunoco stamps. You get your lead out, as they say, or you could have the lead in your gas back then. So and you could get your stamps. So if you just held these up at the gas pump, the glue could melt and you could stick it right into that album. The air was that thick with both leaded and unleaded fumes at that point. I love smelling gas, except for my dog's gas over there. So anyway, thanks for that. Basement Tapes 239. We will talk to everybody at the after party. Cheers.